Call to order. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District. The board tonight is reorganizing, so we are without a chair this evening. I will open the meeting. First, introduction of new board members. First, Jessica Gully-Ward, welcome, new board member. Would you like to say a word?
I'm excited to be here. I'm a Bennington native, graduated Mount Anthony in 1993, so I am anxious to see what we can do together.
Welcome. And Katie Bourne?
I also graduated from Mount Anthony in 2007. I'm excited to be here. This is my first time doing something like this, and I hope we can do great things together.
Welcome. Public comments. Are there any comments from the public?
Hello. My name is Mark Ravati, and I'm going to read from a statement that was co-written by Wendy Klein and myself. She's unable to be here tonight because she was ill. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you who were so recently elected and welcome you to the term. We know that there are important issues on upcoming agendas, including discussions and votes on staff reductions coming. We'd like to remind you of the valuable knowledge and experience and perspectives that your faculty and staff can provide you to support your wise decision making. We hope that you will make use of that resource and gather information towards good decisions. I personally addressed the board on February 12th with information to enlighten the discussion of the enrollment policy. I was made aware that at least one board member at that time wanted to see some longitudinal data on the letter that I presented. I presented one set of statistics. What I've done on that request is I put together that longitudinal data for you, and I have it in the handout tonight. Additionally, Wendy Klein was asked by a board member for enrollment information about programs here at the CDC. She and I sat down and went through our records and would like to provide to you information on the co-op and technical English enrollments that was not available to you on what you received on October 15th. Neither of those programs were on that list. So we want to be sure that you have that. We hope that you find the information that we give you useful. And if there is any need for further information, please know that we are at your disposal to provide that. I wish you all a happy and positive year. So,
it would be inappropriate to take information without having to go through the chair first, and that's the policy piece. So
that's fine. Whatever
you have, you can provide it to the chair, and then
take those.
Yeah, but I'm not the chair.
When the chair is elected, I will give it to the chair.
I just wanted you to know that's the policy piece that says that general information has to be reviewed and then scheduled by the chair. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Are there any other comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll go to the next agenda item, which is board reorganization. Election of a chair, and once we do that, my duties will be over. So at this time, we're ready to report. I'd like to solicit nominations for the chair of our board.
I'll nominate Jim Boutin.
Motion is made and seconded. And let me get this. Are there any other nominations?
Move to close nominations.
Move to closed, seconded. All right, and now we need a vote on the chair. All in favor of electing Jim Boutin as chair of the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District, raise your hands. Okay. All opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, then I deem that Jim Boutin has been elected the chair of the board. Here, and you may conduct the rest of the next of the elections. The remainder of the elections.
No one else wants it. Okay, let's move on to open then nominations for the vice chair.
Nominate Ricky Harrington.
Second.
Okay, we have a nomination from Francis and a second from Larry? Kevin. No, sorry, Kevin.
Oh, you look like Larry.
I know. Do that too often, too. All right, are there any other nominations?
Move we close nominations.
Second.
All right, then we can vote. All those in favor of Ricky being the vice chair, please signify by raising your hands. And that is unanimous. Congratulations. We'll go on to the clerk.
I nominate Kevin Goodhue.
Second.
We have a nomination from Gloria and a second from Ricky. Any other nominations?
Move we close nominations.
All right,
Second.
that's seconded. So they are closed then. We'll have a vote. All those in favor then of Kevin being our clerk, please signify by raising your hand. That is unanimous as well. Good. We're ready to move on. Meeting dates. Sandy, were these included in everyone's packets, the meeting dates?
Yes, they were
Okay,
sent out.
good.
Also, you need to do the place of the meeting and the time of the meeting.
Right. So that looks like this, right, for everybody? All right. Let's start at the top, the place of the meeting. CDC Assembly Room, all in favor of that, all right? No other objections? Time, 6:30 PM.
I'd like to recommend that we start at 6 rather than 6:30.
Okay.
We've done that previous time.
Yeah, we've had this discussion in the
Yes, we
past.
did. Maybe Leon feels differently now.
No, he's retired now. He's
Yeah, that's
able
what
to come earlier.
Let me second that so we can have a discussion.
Okay, we have a motion then and a seconded, and we'll have discussion, as Ricky said. 6 o'clock is on the table.
I prefer 6:30 personally, because I sometimes have to be in Schenectady, and it's difficult to get back here for 6. But we also have the issue of if members of the public wanted to get here, 6 o'clock is a little bit early for some of them getting out of work and getting home and preparing their dinner and coming to a meeting here and taking care of kids or whatever they have to do. And that extra half hour can provide them with a little more freedom, I think.
Okay, does anybody want to respond to that?
Well, no, I agree. That's why I bring it up here. Yeah, 6 o'clock is early for a board meeting that involves the public and a lot of people trying to get here. So the compromise between the 6 and the 7 o'clock would have been perfect for everybody. It's a 6:30, so that's why I recommend that myself.
6 o'clock is also almost impossible for somebody who wanted to come here from, say, the North Shire or from the outlying towns in like Searsburg and Reedsboro and Stamford, all of which are part of our district.
I am coming from the North Shire.
I know. I'm sorry for you.
That's all. I'm just reminding you.
Okay, anyone else want to speak to it? Then it's time we vote on the motion. The motion is that we meet at 6 o'clock for meetings. All right, those in favor of meeting at 6 o'clock, would you signify by raising your hand? 1, 2, 3. Those opposed, would you please raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You opposed?
I'll abstain from that.
You are abstaining, okay. The opposed have it. I don't think we need a motion for 6:30 then. I think that will be the time we're going to update that. Okay? All right, we're meeting at the Assembly Room. We're meeting at 6:30, and now here are the proposed dates that we have in front of us. And if you notice, on these dates, we're trying to avoid the scheduled vacation dates of meeting during vacation times, the spring break and the winter break. So you'll see that in January, and February, we've moved it, and in April, we've moved it. So, any discussions on these dates? Can I have a motion to accept them as presented then?
So moved.
From Ricky, and seconded by Fran. All right.
She'll give you the option to move them, either or, depending on what's going on. For certain ones, April and January or February dates.
Right.
So, and that's good enough.
Well, I think what we'll do is we should choose which dates tonight so that we can schedule those and get them on calendar. So before we vote, let's look at the first one is January 13th or Monday, January 27th, due to Martin Luther King Day. That's avoiding a holiday. Is there anyone have a preference to any of those dates? No. Okay. We'll move on to the next one then. February 10th or Monday, February 24th due to the vacation break. No preference there? And how about April? 7th or 21st? Okay.
April 7th?
Yes, April 7th or Monday, April 21st.
2014,
That's
correct.
2014.
Correct. That's correct.
So if we skipped over the April 2013,
Did we?
Yes, that was
Top.
at the top.
Yeah, we did.
You
Oh, I'm
actually
sorry.
already chosen the 8th, that's why.
Yeah,
Oh.
you did.
Actually.
You said do.
Yes, we did choose the 8th, Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay,
But you wanted the option in case you wanted to change it.
okay. So do you understand that we had previously chosen the 8th? But does anybody want to change that? No, okay, then we'll leave it at that. The thing to look at is going back to Monday, January 13th, and this is 2014. If we choose the 13th, we probably should keep a good distance between the next meetings rather than, say, have a 2-week lag and then go right into another meeting, which would happen if we chose February 10th. So I'm going to suggest that we go with the 13th, the 24th, and then the 21st in April. You understand my reasoning there? Okay.
Jim,
Yes,
isn't, the April one is 2014.
that's true.
Isn't that a new board by that time anyway? So why are we discussing?
Well, we have to set the calendar for 2013 and 2014. If the new board chooses to change that, they can at that time, but we want to get it set for record. Okay, so I have, I've circled the 13th, I'm circling the 24th of February, and the 21st of April, and then all the other dates as presented. Can I have, we can go for a vote if there's no other discussion? All in favor of those dates, please signify by raising your hand. And that looks unanimous, Barb. Thank you. I would like to add, too, that, Sandy, is it possible for us to build a calendar on our Dropbox that would reflect these dates?
I will work with Michael and see if we can do that.
It'd be nice to have in the Dropbox a calendar that would not only reflect the dates of the meetings,
Yeah.
but in the future, as events come up at the CDC, they could be posted. We could be checking that calendar on a monthly basis.
I'm
and
sure
seeing
something we can do.
Seeing other things. That'd be really nice if we could do something like that. Thanks, Mike. The next item is the proposed paper of record. We do have to recognize a paper of record, and it's been the Bennington banner in the past. So do I have a motion to propose the paper of record?
So moved, has been the Bennington banner.
Has been, All right, by Leon and seconded by Fran. Any discussion? Ed?
I think because we're primarily located in Bennington, that the Banner is the appropriate paper of record, but an awful lot of people read the Rutland Herald and do not read the Banner. And we should probably be sending our agenda to the Rutland Herald at the same time that it's being sent to the Banner.
Okay. Anybody wanted to add anything
Should
to
we
that?
do the Journal too? Because some people in Manchester don't get the Banner.
I think that's,
We could send it to the Journal. I don't know if they publish what is already being published in the Banner, but wouldn't have a reason not to send it to them. It's their choice.
Is that a cost for that, for us to do that,
I don't believe so.
to list that for, I don't know, that's what I'm asking, if we're gonna go all these places and in our scheduling of the meetings, I didn't know whether we were being charged for that or not, but that's free.
I don't know that answer either. I think we,
You're sending it to the Banner, is that, do we get a charge for that? We're sending.
No, that goes under community news and public records, so we don't pay for that. I could check out the Manchester Journal to see if they'll do the same thing.
Right, if we no fee for
Right.
anybody, then you wanna make it as many places as you possibly can. if
I'll
they'll
check
do
that
it.
out for you.
along with the Rutland Herald too.
All right.
Okay. Any other discussion? Then let's vote on the paper of record as the Bennington Banner. All of those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. And that is unanimous, Bart. Good. Off-warrant signers. And for the new people, what this means is when we have warrants, when we have bills that come in, sometimes they're like net 30, we have to pay them, or that we may get charged more. And because we meet every 30 or 31 days to approve the warrants, it doesn't happen on time. So what in the past we've done is given either the chair or the vice chair permission to come in, review the warrants, sign them, and then they can go ahead and process and make the payments of the vendors' bills, basically. So that's that has to be approved, that you give the chair and the vice chair permission to do that. Okay? So I'm looking for a motion to allow the chair and vice chair to sign the off warrants.
Move.
Ryan moved and Leon has seconded that. Any further discussion on that?
Don't we also give the secretary the authority? Or haven't we?
I'm sorry, yeah, the chair, the vice chair, and the clerk. That's right.
Sorry.
If we can't find one of them to come in, they go to the next one and then the next. Yeah. Justin, did you have
I'll
something?
take that back so we can amend that. I don't
So-
After you.
We'll amend it so that all three officers can sign. Thank you, Leah. Any other discussion? Thank you for bringing that up for me, Ricky. Any other discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand on this item. And we're good to go on that as well. All right.
And your last board assignment should be signing up for your committees. So I'm going to start this here and sign up for committees you're interested in and pass that back to Jim when you're finished. Thank you.
What I'll do is I'll take into consideration all of those requests for committees, and then I'll let you know at the next meeting which committees you're going to be assigned to. Yep.
There's need to be any explanation for the new board members, just to give them an idea what they're signing up for.
I think that's a good idea.
Self-explanatory, but
Okay.
I sometimes wonder what I'm signing up for.
Did you get a copy of the committees?
We did, but not a description,
Not a description.
other than going online, of course, and looking at the minutes from
Okay.
meetings past.
That's a good point. The Education/Facilities Committee basically meet to address program offerings and where they're offered, the facilities that support that. They address a number of other issues associated with with the curriculum to include even our adult ed programs, et cetera. The Education Committee usually consists of board members, all the committees for that matter, are board members who are the voting members of the committee. Okay, and when you go to the committee, you assign a committee chairperson. You vote on that in committee, and then minutes are taken of your discussions. Usually the committee meetings are pretty much information that the director or the assistant directors or the adult ed coordinator comes into and has on the table. Sometimes, though, I will recommend as a chair, as issues come to the board, that, or I'll say, we're going to take that to the Education Committee and have them discuss it, research the options, the best possible scenarios, et cetera, and then the committee will come back and make the final recommendation to the board. The committees have no authority to make any judgment or any policies, et cetera. They always have to come back to the board, and the board has that authority to make those decisions. Okay, the final authority. So the Ed Committee looks at programs, looks at facilities. Finance works with the business department, usually in building the budget, in managing and overseeing the budget. They're very active around the turn of the year when you're building your budgets and being prepared for what's going to be presented to the voters. The Finance Committee may also look at options of exploring cost or associated with, and particularly in this facility, associated with what Mount Anthony assessed us, because we share facilities with them. Strategic planning is a very busy committee. Strategic planning is looking out to the future. It's looking out at our mission, our goals, our objectives, and reaching out into the community. And that one is, when I say busy committee, there's quite an agenda that's always ongoing with those committees. I should also mention that when you get into the committee, it is the committee's members' decision to invite other people to become a part of the committee. They could be staff members, they could be advisory board members, they could be even just any community member that may have a particular interest in the work that the committee is doing. And so the chair of the committee can ask for those people to become members of the committee. Policy committee is the number one mission of a school board is to establish policy. And that is a very intense committee as well. And policies have to be reviewed and they have to be updated on a regular basis. So that committee is also a busy committee that rewrites a number of times a particular policy, and then when it's finalized, it comes again to the board for approval. The Superintendent Evaluation Committee is basically an ongoing evaluation of the goals and objectives that we've either given to the superintendent or director, or he's outlined with us as a board. And we get updates on those kind of on a quarterly basis. And if there's any particular issues that come up, why then the committee addresses those. And then the committee will come at the end of each year and make a recommendation to the board on his evaluation. Okay. So I want everyone to carefully look those all over and hand me in what you may be interested in. Every one of these committees is, in my opinion, is critical and important to this board. I don't think that any of them should be eliminated. There is a purpose, and a very important purpose. Okay.
Just one other comment, Jim.
Yes?
There are other committees during the year that you may be asked to serve on from time to time, or volunteer, of course, what we say.
Yeah, there's sometimes special committees that have to be formed, and we normally do that right here at a board meeting. Appoint members to sit down and do the work of those. Those committees are not standing committees, so they don't last throughout the year. They meet their purpose and then they disband.
I don't know if I have time for two.
Board training. I wanted to mention that, as a matter of fact, I gotta find my notes on this, but the Vermont School Board Association is holding board training for new board members, and it's gonna be here on April 9th, which is a Monday. It's on the essential works of school boards, and it's focused, I'll read to you what, because it's open not just to new board members, but to all board members. And I'll read to you what they put on their website. This workshop provides a comprehensive orientation for new school board members, and it is also a valuable refresher for experienced board members. The training and work session will focus on the essential role of school boards to set goals, measure performance, and make informed decisions, and includes specific responsibilities such as the following: open meeting law and handling complaints. And finally, it'll provide guidance around operating an effective and ethical board. We will use a case study approach to cover some of the most frequent challenges faced by board members. We recommend boards attend as a group to help establish a common reference for their work, address the questions that arise for new members, and build on the experience of returning members. All meetings begin at 5 p.m. with a complimentary light meal. And please list the daytime contact phone number, and you can go to their website, which is at the VSB, Vermont School Board Association.org, and you can register for that. I highly recommend. We had a session last year where we had them come down on a Saturday. We met, I think, for 4 hours with them, and quite a few members here attended. It was very helpful. It was encouraging. So I recommend that.
What was the date?
That's April 9th at 5 p.m.
Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yes. Yeah.
Are you going with a full board? Is that correct? You asking everybody to come?
Well,
that night like we did last time?
Let me put out another option, Leon, before I make any recommendation. The other option is I would like, if we don't want to go with the Vermont School Board, that we meet as a group and conduct our own training individually to cover the essential works of the school board, using their manuals, and cover other information maybe that we want to get up to speed on as far as policies or any of the committees. It's nice to have them run the agenda and keep the flow going. They're professionals. They do a good job of it. So I would encourage you to go one or the other, and that we do something as a group. Yes.
So we need to make a motion or do that to put this in place or something. I mean, the spout clock. I mean, personally, I like the way it went last time. I mean, as many board members become old and new.
Mm-hmm.
We discuss everything, and you're right, you have the School Board Association providing the same information to everybody around the state.
That's right. And they give good examples, too.
What day again did you say it was?
Okay, it's April 9th at 5 p.m. It's here at the CDC. They usually hold it right here in the conference room. But you do need to register. So I'd like to see just a show of hands of who would agree to attend that meeting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, great. This is fantastic. I'll tell you what then. We can take care of that registration for you. Can you do that for us, Jim, and let them know that we have, a number here that are going to attend, and that's Leon, Fran, Ricky. Did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did.
Oh, what a great guy. I know you did. No, you can't make it. And then, yeah, the three over here. So that would be fantastic, and I'll be here there
Okay.
as well.
So, no to Gloria and Ed, but everyone else is that?
Yep.
No, I,
Oh, Ed.
Yeah, I'd say
Sorry.
that. Justin will not be able to make it as
Justin
well.
will not.
we could hold our own session later on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If-
That's right. Yeah, that's
If
right.
it's appropriate.
It's
for
kind of
everybody.
like a retreat. At that point, it's called a board retreat, where you get together and you discuss things of that nature, yeah. Good. So we're gonna go for that. And that's the day after our board meeting, so we're doing 2 nights in a row, folks. Okay, I love the dedication. Okay, I need to get back to the agenda here. The Code of Ethics, did everybody get a copy of this? Okay. We normally formally adopt this right here at the board meeting, at our reorganizational meetings, and we ask that all board members sign this. If you haven't had a chance to look over, this is a new version than what's been put out in the past. It's just a very good code of appropriate behavior of school board members. So we ask that you sign that, but you get it to leave it either with me or give it to Sandy, and we will go on record as being officially accepting the Vermont Code of Ethics for school board members. I'm going to sign mine right here now. Okay, committee reports. We have none. None have met since our last, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. In the packet were the minutes from the full board meeting of February 12th, 2013. Do I have a motion to accept those?
Second.
Did you get that, Barb? Okay. Any discussion on the minutes? Yes, Ed.
Oh, minutes, I tell her around.
Nope, we're on the minutes of the full board meeting, February 12th. All right, no other discussion. Please signify by raising your hand if you approve those minutes. And Gloria, are
I
you
have to
abstaining?
abstain.
Okay. Ed, do you approve those? You
Yes.
did agree on those, okay. How about the minutes for the annual meeting? Remember, we had to have an official meeting on March 5th for our annual meeting. Not much of a minutes there, but, yeah. Moved and seconded. Moved by Ricky and seconded by Fran. Any discussion? All in favor? Accepting those?
And I
Any-
have to abstain.
Okay, and Gloria's abstaining on that.
Leon,
And Leon's abstaining, okay. The warrants, payroll warrants 17, 1031, 1032, 19, and 1034. Those were in the packet.
So moved.
Second.
Again, Ricky and Fran, any discussion on the payroll warrants? Ed?
Warrant number 18. I have a relative who apparently works occasionally for the adult ed, and I don't believe there's a conflict of interest since we have no control over the adult ed courses, but I'd like the board to discuss it for a moment and decide one way or the other whether they believe there's a conflict of interest. And if it is a conflict of interest, then I'd like to pull that warrant out of the agenda and have it voted on independently by everybody, so that I can recuse myself for that one particular warrant.
Okay, the issue is he's got a sister-in-law that's employed on the adult ed program.
right, but before we get into that, I think the policy allows you to make that decision yourself as to whether you feel that there is one in these fusions, as opposed to having the board make and have a discussion around that, if I didn't get that mixed up. So if Ed feels like he needs to be excused, then he can be excused. And he has that right.
Okay, I think, did you want to say something, Rob? Okay, yeah.
I don't disagree with Lynn on Ed's prerogative to excuse himself or not, but the thing that I look at is there any monetary gain when you look at a conflict of interest? And this goes back to the time when we're voting on issues where we have school board members whose wives are parents, teachers. That's a conflict of interest because there's a monetary gain or loss, or however you want to look at it. I just, in this case here, I wouldn't believe Ed's got any monetary gain involved here. So to me, there's no conflict of interest. Plus, we're all fully aware of in the town of Bennington, be careful what you say, because you might be talking about your next door neighbor's brother or something. We're so closely knit.
Yes.
I agree with the concept that there is no monetary gain. However, the law says shall avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest. And by nature of the fact that people carry the same name, there is the appearance of a conflict of interest, although it's impossible for there to be any monetary gain out of it. And that's why I thought maybe the board should discuss this issue and come up with a policy, because I'm sure it's going to happen again.
Ed, if it was the name that's the issue, they'd throw me off the board a long time.
Because we have a policy in place that addresses it, and it does address that you are the responsible party to recuse yourself. So at this point, I think it would be wise that we just follow the policy, and that if you feel there's a conflict of interest, when you so state, when it's time to vote on the payroll warrant, and abstain. Okay? And that's probably your best bet, and to abstain that until we change the policy. If you're recommending a policy change, well, then we'll send that to the policy committee for further discussion. But right now, we do have something in place. Are you okay with that?
Sure, I could file a conflict of interest complaint against myself and make you discuss it, which might be interesting.
We can further discuss it if you choose, if the board so chooses.
Well, I need the question. Let's vote.
Can we pull this one warrant and then vote on the rest of them?
Do we need to pull the warrant? Why would we need to pull it?
Vote on them as a batch, correct? Or
The
no?
payroll warrants, yeah, we did, yes. So you want to pull that one warrant and, okay, which is warrant number 18. Okay, so we need a motion then to, or we need to amend the motion to accept all of the payroll warrants except for 18 at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so that's been amended. All those in favor of accepting payroll 17, 1031, please signify by raising your hand. Okay, that's unanimous. And all those in favor, I need a motion to accept payroll 18.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on 18? All right, so hearing none, all those in favor of accepting payroll warrant 18, please signify by raising your hands. Those abstained? Okay, we're official. Let's go on to the vendor warrants. I need a motion for those.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the vendor warrants? 1033 and 1035. Okay, seeing and hearing none. All in favor of accepting the vendor warrants, please signify by raising your hand. Those are unanimous as well, Barb. Any questions on the cash flow statement and revenues and expense statements that were presented? Okay. Action items. We've got some field trips. FBLA headed for Burlington, Skills USA to Burlington, and DECA to Anaheim.
Then make a motion to set them all in one shot?
We can do that.
I will then.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. They're always been given the heads up and the thumbs up on these. They're so good for our students. We know that.
Right.
I just don't know what the organization is, FBLA.
Future Business Leaders of America
Okay, and the other one,
is Skills USA,
no.
DECA.
DECA, Distributive Ed Clubs of America.
I'm sorry, what?
Distributive Education Clubs of America. So the marketing program.
They've been around quite some time. Very active. We usually do pretty well on that one,
Yes,
don't
we
we?
do.
You know, competitions.
We receive funding in our Perkins allotment from the state for these student organizations to attend these, and also their own fundraising and through the proceeds.
Just for me, if they were spelled out, then I would get it. I mean,
It's the
Yeah.
acronyms that
Yeah.
throw you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a mistake that we do sometimes, just like we had to explain committees, then we make the assumption that no one knows what we're talking about. I apologize for that.
Okay. All those in favor then of accepting these field trips, please signify by raising your hand. That's unanimous, Bob. That's good. Superintendent's report.
You left off one thing on the action item.
Whoops.
It says resignation, but it really is a letter of retirement.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. It is a letter that was in your packet from Greg. Greg, do you want to make any statements on that?
Not really,
Okay.
I've been here a long time.
I don't want to put you on the spot either. I do want to note, though, that I appreciate what you wrote in there, that you'd be willing to work with us in the transition to whatever path we go down, and that's very helpful. That is extremely helpful for us to have that, and we do appreciate that. And we do appreciate the years of service that you've given us.
That's right.
Absolutely. We do need a vote then to,
You need a motion to accept?
yes, we need a motion to accept the resignation.
Gladly.
Second.
Seconded by Leon.
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor then, please signify by raising your hands on this one. And that's unanimous, Mark. Sorry, now you're on.
Okay.
Thank you for keeping me straight here.
These came in too late to be action items, but I also have two other resignations to announce this evening. First, Lisa Buchanan, our attendance clerk, has given her letter of resignation effective the 28th of this month, which is 2 weeks' notice on her part. She is relocating along with her family. We wish her well, but I don't know what action we're going to take yet with that position. I guess this is all pretty new. The other resignation is our engineering teacher, Patty Van Derzen. We sent letters, intent to hire letters out, and she returned hers on Friday of this week with indication that she is going to leave teaching. And again, that is with regret. So as a matter of procedure, I'll put those on the April agenda for you to vote on, because they are not listed as an action item unless I am wrong, and you can vote on accepting them if they're not listed as an action item. I asked the board for its guidance on that.
because it's a teaching position, we don't have to take any action, or either one of those. But I don't want it to hold up the possibility of us advertising.
And that's why I'm telling you
Yeah.
tonight, so if you saw an ad in the paper, you'd be
So
wondering what was going on.
we would want to be able to proceed with, particularly as early as possible, to get postings out, school spring, et cetera, on filling and backfilling the positions, so.
So we just, what you're wanting to do is be part of either the minutes or something else, and normally we voted on those, so we need to vote to accept those as part of something and then have it included in the next package. I think that's what you're going to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Next packet,
Yeah.
I'll include the letters that they gave you so you all can read them, but if they're in the minutes, then it's noted, as Leon said, and we can go ahead and advertise. I also have, and this is for informational purposes, this is the final draft of the school calendar for next year. So it does not require a vote by the board. It is by contract required for a vote by the MAU board. And my understanding is we have been asked to give this, if there's any, asked by the Supervisors Union Central Office to ask our committee to review this. We attend meetings, planning meetings, development meetings for this calendar, and we have input in it, but it really is driven by others, and it is voted on. So this is really, there's no surprises in the calendar, it's pretty standard. But do you have any questions on that? The week of April 1st through 5th is going to be Career Week here in Bennington, and it's spearheaded by CCV, but the Career Development Center is also going to be holding 2 career fairs as part of that week. They will be on April 2nd and April 4th from 10:20 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. here in our atrium. You're all welcome to attend if you can. The atrium will be filled with informational displays and interactive activities through which students from the high school can explore, and our staff will be on hand to answer questions and provide information about the variety of career pathways available to them. So again, that is April 2nd and April 4th from 10:20 to 10:35 here in our atrium. And I want to thank the staff members who are really spearheading that to put those displays together and make it a big event for the high school students to come and see what our offerings are.
Does that include Burton and Arlington?
I believe they will get an invitation, yes. Whether they'll be able to attend as easily as students from Mount Anthony. This past Friday was a Staff Professional Development Day, March 8th here. And what we did that day was teachers and staff were given the opportunity to design their own professional development day. And the guidelines set was to either arrange to explore another tech center, every program has an advisory committee, to spend the day job shadowing somebody on your advisory committee, or tour a business of someone who's on your advisory committee. The priorities were those, that visiting tech centers or visiting businesses of members of their advisory, job shadowing related to their area of teaching. In short, I viewed it as a day of reattaching yourself to your field. Our staff were at schools in Brattleboro, Springfield, Vermont, Pittsfield, Mass., Hudson, New York, a courthouse in Bennington, a TV station in Albany, businesses in Vermont and New York, and a few staff members concentrated here at the CDC for the day with vendors of specialized software in their respective programs. All staff were required to keep a log of the day and file a report of their activities to me by Friday of this week. On that day, Mr. Lawler and I toured Taconic High School in Pittsfield, Mass., meeting with their school resource officers, focusing on building security and safety, along with staff members from Mount Anthony High School. I hope the day was a success. I'm looking forward to reading the reports that our staff will send me. I viewed it as an opportunity, and what I said in the memo to the staff was, I want you to find an activity that you wanted to do, but on a day that you have students, it's an impossibility. Because I don't know if I mentioned that right. It was a professional development day. School was not in session on Friday. So when I read those reports, if there's anything interesting, I'll share them in my future superintendent report. Building security, I mentioned that was one thing that we tore, and that's what I'm going to end my report with. As I mentioned, we are taking steps to make this building more secure. Mindful of that balance that we want to try to be as inviting of a place as possible, and that we have adults in the building at night, so what security measures we put in place for the day, are they in place for night, and that's why we're touring other schools. What is going to come is all school buildings in Bennington, if they aren't already locked, they will be locked, and there will be some kind of buzzer/entry system, and we're leaning towards installing that during the summer. It's a cultural shift. It's a change for students and staff. We've done something. It is a balance between being a friendly, open environment that we want to encourage people to come here and see what we have, but at the same time control access and make it safe for all staff members. The back doors are now locked where they were open because we have such incredible amount of foot traffic during the day because we have students leave and come back, programs go off-site and come back. And all those things have to be looked at and how we can control that, make people safer, and yet still carry out our mission. So I'll be giving you more updates on that in the future. We received one estimate. Mount Anthony is also doing the same thing, and because it makes no sense for us to lock our doors if their doors are not locked, and vice versa. So, and as you tour other schools, you realize that this has happened in other places a while ago, and we're in some ways catching up. So, any questions on that? That is my report, other than some things I want to mention later in executive session.
Okay. All right.
Jim?
Yep. Leon.
Well, I think this is probably on the Jim's. Wednesday, the 20th, we've been talking about agricultural, and Mount Anthony has put that on the education committee from 5:30 to 6:30. So
I've indicated that I will be there, and I've had discussions with the principal there. So
I wanted to make sure that we got that, and then there was some courses that we wanted to have approved to Mount Anthony. I think all 3 of them got approved.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so I want to make sure that everybody knows that these things that happen.
Thank you, Leon.
There are things that we also want to discuss with their education committee that isn't on the agenda.
Yeah,
but
it's nice to get them on, and that's what we're trying to do, is make sure that everything that we need to have happen between the 2 schools start to work together, so that's a good thing.
Okay, we do have an executive session planned for personnel reasons, and well, before we break for executive sessions, I got a couple other things under other, and I think that we should clear those. First of all, I like Barb to know that I'm going to hand these out now to all the board members. I've got a chance to look through this quickly, and there's definitely information here that everyone needs to see. So I just didn't want you to think that this is going to be tabled somewhere, so I appreciate everybody taking a copy of this information that Barb has provided us and look through this. And again, we are going to be taking some action at next meeting that will address some issues that are in here. So take the time, please, to look through what she's provided us there. The other thing I regret to inform you about, but I received this email probably at about 5 o'clock this evening before I was on my way. It reads, Jim, I regret to inform you that I will be tendering my resignation from the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District Board effective 19 March 2013. At this juncture in time, a change in schedule has left me without the means to designate the appropriate amount of time that is required to be an effective board member. I trust the board will be able to pick a suitable replacement. I wish all of you the best and continue to manage the great community asset that the CDC is. Justin Corcoran. So Justin will be leaving us, and it's understanding so. He's a busy guy. We know that. His time has now been shortened even more. There will be no action item on that tonight. We will put that on the agenda for what we're going to do with that at the next meeting as well. Okay.
Good luck, Justin.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
I know you've got your plate full in other areas, and but we do appreciate what you've given that to us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes, yes, and I also want to take the time to welcome back Gloria, who's been ill and down and out, and it's great to see you sitting back at the table
Thank
this
you.
evening.
I'm feeling very well.
Good.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Good. I need a motion then to return to executive session. By Fran and seconded by Ricky. That's for personnel. Yep.
And only to return to adjourn.
Only to return to adjourn, right. All other business has been taken care of. All in favor? Please signify by raising your hand to go to executive session. What we do is we go in the room next door. Okay, that's what we leave the table. Thank you. The code of ethics, I could take those before we go.